Ever wonder why arsenic is a staple in crime novels? Let's dive into it. Our journey begins in ancient times when arsenic, a seemingly innocent gray metal, was discovered. It's been a part of human history for millennia, used in everything from cosmetics to medicines. But its most notorious use, that's right, poison. Arsenic's deadly reputation took hold during the Middle Ages, earning it the moniker the King of Poisons. It was the go-to choice for assassins and scheming royal courts due to its tasteless and odorless nature. A little arsenic in the evening wine and voila, the throne is yours. Now, what happens when this royal poison enters the human body? Well, it's not a pretty picture. Arsenic is a silent and deadly invader, wreaking havoc on the body's systems. First, it targets your digestive system. Nausea, vomiting, and severe abdominal pain are just the initial greetings from arsenic, but it doesn't stop there. It moves onto the skin, causing lesions and discoloration. Imagine waking up with dark patches and painful blisters. Not exactly the beauty routine you had in mind, right? And the finale of this destructive performance? The nervous system. Arsenic can cause numbness in the limbs, leading to partial paralysis. It's a slow and insidious process, much like the plots of those who once used this poison to their advantage. But there's a twist to this tale. Arsenic isn't just a historical menace. It's still a threat today, found in everything from contaminated water to certain types of rice. So, while you might not have to worry about a scheming courtier slipping arsenic into your goblet, you might want to think twice about where your water comes from. So next time you're reading a murder mystery and arsenic pops up, you'll know why it's the poison of choice. Benzene, a common industrial chemical, is not just a carcinogen. This familiar foe is ever present in our modern world, lurking in places you might not expect. It's found in petroleum products, rubber, dyes, detergents, drugs, and pesticides. Yes, it's a staple of the industrial world, but it's also a silent threat to our health. When we think of benzene, we often associate it with cancer, and rightfully so. It's been classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. This means there's sufficient evidence to say that benzene can cause cancer in humans. Exposure to high levels of benzene has been linked to leukemia and non-Hodgkin lymphoma, both of which are types of cancer that affect the blood cells. But the perils of benzene don't stop at cancer. This chemical packs a punch that strikes at various aspects of our health. One of the most significant non-cancer effects of benzene exposure is damage to the bone marrow. This can lead to a decrease in red blood cells, resulting in anemia. It can also cause excessive bleeding and can affect the immune system, making it harder for the body to fight off infections. The human body is a complex system, and benzene finds ways to wreak havoc on multiple fronts. It's not just about the big C, it's about the myriad ways this chemical can disrupt our bodily functions and overall health. It's about understanding that even common everyday substances can pose a risk, if not handled correctly. So, next time you fill up your car, or use a product containing benzene, remember to take precautions. It's not just about avoiding cancer, it's about protecting your overall health from this versatile villain. And while we can't completely eliminate our exposure to benzene, we can certainly take steps to minimize it. Remember, benzene isn't just a cancer risk, it's a full-body assault. So let's arm ourselves with knowledge and stay vigilant in our battle against this common yet harmful chemical. Chromium might sound like a heavy metal band, but its effects are far from rock and roll. This shiny steel gray element might look appealing, but it's a silent saboteur, wreaking havoc on your health when ingested in high amounts. Inhaling chromium particulates, for instance, can lead to serious respiratory problems, including lung cancer. Its metallic menace doesn't stop there. Chromium can also cause skin conditions such as ulcers and dermatitis, turning a simple touch into a painful experience. But wait, there's more. This heavy metal can also damage your kidneys and liver. Two organs that play an essential role in detoxifying your body and filtering out harmful substances. Inadvertent exposure to chromium can lead to irreversible damage and long-term health problems. So, while chromium might sound cool, it's a heavy metal you don't want to mess with. The next time you think of heavy metal, let it be a head-banging tune, not this health-threatening element. Talloween, a common ingredient in paint thinners, is a chemical threat we often overlook. This clear, sweet-smelling liquid, also known as methylbenzene or phenylmethane, is much more than just a solvent. It's a potent player in the world of neurotoxins, capable of wreaking havoc on your nervous system. When inhaled, talloween can quickly make its way into your bloodstream, from where it makes a beeline for your brain. Once there, it can cause symptoms ranging from lightheadedness and confusion to dizziness and even unconsciousness. It's like a roller coaster ride in your head that you didn't sign up for. But that's not all. If you think the immediate effects are bad, wait till you hear about the long-term ones. Regular exposure to Talloween can lead to serious kidney and liver damage. It's like a slow-motion wrecking ball for your internal organs, tearing down their functionality bit by bit. And if you thought that's where the bad news ends, think again. Prolonged exposure to Talloween can also impact your cognitive abilities, leading to problems with speech, vision, and hearing. It's a silent saboteur, slowly chipping away at your senses. So, while Talloween might help strip away the old paint from your walls, it's also capable of stripping away your health. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most dangerous threats are the ones we don't see. Next time you're handling paint thinner, remember, Talloween is not your friend, not your... Smokers, listen up. There's a chemical in your cigarettes called cadmium, and it's not doing your body any favors. Now, you might be wondering, what's cadmium? Well, it's a heavy metal, a nasty one at that. It's found in the Earth's crust and is used in batteries, pigments, metal coatings, and plastics. But here's the kicker, it's also found in tobacco smoke. When you light up a cigarette, cadmium is released from tobacco leaves and is inhaled into your lungs. And it doesn't just stop there. Cadmium travels through your bloodstream, reaching every corner of your body. So what does cadmium do once it's in your body? Glad you asked. It wreaks havoc, that's what. Cadmium targets your lungs, kidneys, and bones. It's a triple threat. Firstly, it damages the lungs, leading to severe respiratory problems and even lung cancer. Secondly, it hits your kidneys. Over time, cadmium can cause kidney disease, reducing their ability to filter out harmful substances. And last but not least, it weakens your bones, increasing the risk of fractures. And here's the real kicker, cadmium builds up in your body. It doesn't get flushed out like other substances. No, it stays, accumulating over time, making the damage worse. So if the lung cancer risk wasn't enough, add cadmium poisoning to your reasons to quit smoking. Mercury. It's not just a planet, it's a chemical with some seriously harmful effects. This silvery liquid metal, often found in thermometers, has a darker side that's far from cool. Let's dive into the impact of mercury on the body, shall we? First stop, the nervous system. Mercury, particularly its organic compound methylmercury, can wreak havoc on your brain and nerves. It's a neurotoxin, meaning it can damage or destroy nerve tissues, leading to symptoms like tremors, insomnia, memory loss, and even changes in personality. Not exactly a fun party guest, is it? Next, we're off to the digestive and immune systems. Mercury can disrupt the normal functioning of these systems, causing everything from stomach discomfort and diarrhea to a weakened immune response. So not only could you end up with an upset stomach, but you might also find yourself catching colds more often. And let's not forget the lungs and kidneys. Inhaling mercury vapors can cause serious damage to these organs. The lungs can become inflamed and fill with fluid, making it difficult to breathe. The kidneys, which work hard to filter toxins out of your body, can be damaged to the point of kidney failure. But the most chilling fact about mercury, it can be lethal. High levels of mercury exposure can lead to death. It's a stark reminder of why we need to take this chemical seriously and limit our exposure. So, if you're ever tempted to play around with a broken thermometer, remember this tour through the body and the damage mercury can do. It's a stark reminder that, while mercury may be beautiful to look at, it's a toxic substance that should be handled with extreme care. Remember, Mercury is a planet best viewed from afar, not a chemical to get close to. Sodium, it's in your diet, but too much of it can tip the scales of health. This humble element, found abundantly in table salt, plays a vital role in our bodies. It helps regulate fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions, a true multitasker. But like a well-intentioned friend who overstays their welcome, too much sodium can cause a ruckus in our bodies. When sodium intake skyrockets, it brings along an uninvited guest. Water. This extra water increases the volume of blood in our veins and arteries. Now, the heart, like a diligent worker, has to pump harder to move all this extra blood around, leading to high blood pressure. High blood pressure, you might ask. So what? Well, it's not something to shrug off. High blood pressure is like a ticking time bomb. It's a major risk factor for heart disease, the leading cause of death worldwide. It's also linked to stroke, a condition that occurs when the blood supply to part of your brain is interrupted or reduced, causing brain cells to die. So, while sodium might seem like a friendly character in the story of our diet, it's important to remember that it's a double-edged sword. Consuming just the right amount is beneficial, but going overboard can lead to serious health problems. It seems the saying too much of a good thing definitely applies to sodium. Benzidine, it's a hidden hazard in our environment. This organic compound might not be a household name, but it's a silent warrior that poses a significant risk to our health, particularly when it comes to bladder cancer. You see, benzidine is a potent carcinogen, a substance that can cause cells to become cancerous by altering their genetic structure. Now, let's talk about bladder cancer. It's a disease that isn't often in the limelight, but it's one of the most common and lethal cancers out there. The bladder, that muscular organ which stores urine until it's ready to be excreted, can become a battleground when exposed to benzidine. This chemical can cause cells in the bladder to mutate, leading to abnormal growth and, ultimately, cancer. The real kicker is that benzidine is not just found in labs or industrial settings, it's used in the production of dyes, particularly those used in textiles and paper. So, that brightly colored shirt you're wearing or that vibrant wallpaper in your house, they might have been dyed using benzidine? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? An unseen enemy lurking in the most unexpected places, but awareness is the first step towards protection. By understanding the risks posed by benzidine, we can make informed choices and minimize our exposure to this hazardous compound. Benzidine, it's a silent but deadly threat to our health. Cobalt, it's not just a shade of blue, it's a chemical that can make you feel pretty blue. This element, found in the Earth's crust, is more than just a hue. It's a part of our everyday lives, found in batteries, magnets, and even some paints. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's harmless. Exposure to cobalt can have harmful effects on the human body. One of the most severe is heart problems, including cardiomyopathy, a disease that makes it harder for your heart to pump blood. It's a serious condition and can lead to heart failure. Cobalt doesn't stop at your heart though. It can also wreak havoc on your thyroid, causing damage that affects your metabolism and energy levels. And your lungs aren't safe either. Prolonged exposure can lead to lung diseases, including asthma and pneumonia. So, while cobalt might be a pretty color, it's a chemical to steer clear of. Uranium. It's not just for atomic bombs, it's a chemical that can cause a bombshell in your body. This hefty element is renowned for its atomic power, but did you know it's also a silent saboteur of human health? When ingested, uranium doesn't play nice. It targets the kidneys, causing damage that can be both severe and irreversible. This is because uranium in its natural state is a toxic and radioactive element, but the kidneys aren't its only victims. Uranium's radioactive nature also means it's a potential cancer instigator. When it decays, it releases radiation, and this radiation can damage cells, leading to mutations and, in some cases, cancer. So, while uranium might fuel our reactors and power our world, it's not something you want on your dinner plate. Remember, uranium is best left to the physicists, not the foodies.